Welcome back to the Elemental Plant Only Plants vs Zombies 2 challenge. For the people who have never played this game, my part 1 self will tell you what the whole challenge is about, and you legends should watch that video after this one. Plants vs Zombies 2, the sequel to the hit tower defense game Plants vs Zombies, is a game where you're put against zombies.
Well, duh.
They try to eat your plants and get to your brain. The game is about Crazy Dave wanting to go back in time and eat a taco, and goes through multiple eras and locations battling through zombies just to get a taco. Today, instead of a peaceful Plants vs Zombies 2 gaming video, we are going to make this intense. We are going to become Aang from Avatar and use all the elemental plants at our disposal. These elements include fire, ice, water, and wind. The plants we are allowed to use have to fit these elements or we can't use them. The rules are that we can't upgrade plants. We play conveyor belts normally. We can only use power-ups once. We can only use elemental plants. We can use sun producers but only for sun producing levels. And pre-planted plants are allowed and we won't lose the challenge. Why am I doing this? In a Discord call I was having with a friend about the challenge, he said this. So Ren, do you think I could beat the Plants vs Zombies second game using only elemental plants?
I don't know. It sounds pretty hard up to do it.
Today, I'm gonna beat this challenge to prove him and maybe even some of you wrong. In the last video, I managed to beat World 1 and 2, which was Ancient Egypt and Pirate Seas. The first world we are going to take down is the Wild West. The first 3 levels were pretty easy and we beat it by simply spamming our elemental plants whenever we needed them and by moving the minecarts which can move lanes to shoot all the zombies. On day 4, we ran into a zombie that scares me, which is the Prospector zombie. This zombie explodes using dynamite to go behind our defensive lines and kill our plants from behind. Luckily, I realized that I could kill the Prospector before it explodes and flies over all of my plants. After beating the 4th level, we unlocked the Chiligan. This plant makes any zombies explode with gas after eating it and slows the zombies behind. Since this plant makes the zombies pass wind, it counts as a wind elemental plant. On day 5, we encountered another annoying zombie, which is the Poncho zombie. This zombie has an armored vest inside of his coat and can tank a lot of hits, especially later down the run. This level wasn't that much of an issue however, and we moved on. On day 8, we were up against a massive attack and had no lawnmowers. Because it was a conveyor belt level, we still found it pretty easy to beat, even with those spooky cowboy gargantuas. After beating day 9, we unlocked the next elemental plant, which is the lightning rod. This plant electrocutes zombies and uses AoE attacks to strike many at a time. This counts as an air plant as well since lightning comes from the sky. Despite it not being too useful in Wild West, it was an absolute MVP in some of the later levels. Day 10 we ran into the Chicken Man. Not to be confused with Gustavo Fring, this Chicken Man has a lot of chickens that he uses to try to kill us. On day 13 we found the scariest zombie so far, which is the Bull Zombie. Because it charges at you and throws a minion all the way into your back line. This is dangerous because the cow runs insanely fast and can eat up your plants like he eats grass, and the minion is an absolute griefer. We made it out of this level with no lawnmowers left, but we realized we had to be smart and tactical if we wanted to make it out of the Wild West without losing our brains. On day 14, we used the lightning reed to become Thor, and I even became Thor in real life.
Bring me Thanos!
In day 16, we realized that the lightning reed is actually pretty good at defeating the Prospector dynamite zombie. I had trouble with day 17 as it was quite hard to stop the zombies from trampling the flowers. Eventually, after a few losses, I found the strategy to beat the level and defeated it. Victory! Day 18 was a defense planning level in which I became Thor once again. Day 19 was a level where I had to not lose more than 2 plants and not use more than 2000 sun. Day 20 was an easy conveyor level and we made our way to day 21. Day 21 was rough due to the overwhelming zombies from the front and the prospectors from behind, due to the challenge being that the zombies cannot trample the flowers. After realizing I could defeat it using a combination of snapdragons and lightning reeds, I defeated the level. Day 22 and 23 were quite simple levels and I got past them in 1 or 2 tries. Day 24 was annoying due to me having to move 3 different tall nuts so they wouldn't get eaten. but it was not too hard after that, and I made my way onto the boss. This time Zomboss was a Wild West wagon, but it was a pretty easy boss fight and I beat it with pretty low difficulty. I still had to fight harder worlds however, and I moved on with the mindset that I had to play like an absolute god to prove myself to my friend who doubted me, and maybe some of you guys. After taking down the Wild West, we moved on to the fourth world in the game, which was the Frostbite Caves. This world is a world in which everything is cold. Luckily, due to the challenge, all the plants I have are pretty much suited against the harsh and cold weather. Beating down day 1, I unlocked the Hot Potato, which is a fire elemental that can unfreeze plants. It was moderately useful, but also kinda not really that useful as well. Days 2 to 8 were very easy and we made our way to day 9. On day 9 we had the introduction of the Dodo Rider zombie. The Dodo has the ability to fly for a short time, and it is really annoying as it can dive in from the skies and eat up your plants without any difficulty. Most of these levels were easy until I hit a wall, and that wall was day 15. On this day, you have to protect 2 endangered pepper pots, and while it seems easy on the surface, I could not find a single way to keep these pepper pots safe. The zombies would always overwhelm me regardless of what I tried the majority of the time, which was quite sad. Eventually I found that you could beat this level with the fire pea shooters as long as you make smart placements, and we won the level. Day 16 was also a rough day that I faced difficulty on, even though it was a conveyor level, and I had to search for a tutorial to beat it. My capture card stopped working on the days 17 to 19, but in these days we unlocked the Stunner, which is a really useful plant as it can stun enemies. After stomping the levels 21 to 25, we unlocked the Rotobugger after beating level 26. This plant can shoot in 4 directional angles and has very high DPS, which is damage per second. This plant isn't always the most useful, but can be an MVP in some cases. Day 27 shows the power of the Rotobugger, as we had a whole horde of zombies, including at least 3 gargantuas, and yet the Rotobuggers easily cleaned them up. Day 28 we had to plan our defense, in which we made a giant Rotobugger defense that wiped all of the zombies out of existence. Day 29 was a simple level which was a break from the stress-inducing icy levels that we enjoyed. Day 30 was the boss, and this time he was a woolly mammoth. This was the easiest boss by far, and we dominated this boss fight and put Dr. Zomboss in his place once again. After taking down the woolly mammoth, we moved on to the 5th world, and the last world of this video, which is the Lost City. Starting day 1, I realized that this level had something that might save my life throughout the playthrough of this world.
Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours.
Which was the Sun Tiles. In this map, the golden tiles give you sun, and it is a blessing that they gave this to me. Day 1 was a breeze, and I got past this without any issues at all. On day 4, this was the introduction of a very troubling zombie, which was the Excavator. This zombie has a shovel that blocks attacks, and he can use this shovel to dig up plants and throw them behind him, which is going to make this playthrough much harder. I used the pepper pot to beat him, and we made our way further through the Lost City that looks kind of inspired by Temple Run, not gonna lie. On day 6, I realized that there was a cheat code to beat the Excavator zombies, which was to use lightning rigs. See, unlike the other plants, the lightning rig shoots lightning, which doesn't count as a projectile apparently, and this allows us to overcome the Excavator zombies, and this discovery was absolutely essential for surviving in the Lost City. This is what I meant when I said the lightning rig was going to become an MVP, and we smited the zombies with our thunder power. Some of the bug zombies, which fly above the plants, were somewhat of an issue, but we made our way through this world pretty swiftly and easily. Most of this world was pretty easy for the most part, and it was like that until day 17, where they introduced the tent zombie. This zombie plants a tent and zombies spawn from it. Day 17 was a struggle, but I survived the level. After beating day 19, we unlocked the Storia, which is a wind plant since it releases wind that stalls zombies. This plant will be useful to us as it allows further stalling of the zombies. Day 20 was an absolute struggle due to the insane amount of zombies that swarmed me, and we barely made it out alive. Day 22 was a fun boulder and fire level where we could place plants on the boulder, or have zombies step on it to send a boulder down that destroys everything in its way, including gargantuas. Day 23 was an absolute struggle on the first attempt, But after realizing I can just spam snapdragons and stallers to stall the zombies, we beat this level pretty easy. On day 27 we had a huge difficulty spike due to the turquoise skull zombies. These absolute jerks use the skull that they hold to blast our plants, and you can also steal our sun, although I don't think they stole my sun once. I tried many strategies to beat this level, like using snapdragons, flame pea shooters, and rotobarkers. Eventually the strategy I used was to use the Stallia, Stunnion, and Iceberg Glaze on the sun tiles to gather free sun, and we started planting tons of lightning roots. We had a very close call with the buckethead zombie, who was almost going to sneak through, but the plant fruit ability from the lightning root killed it, and we defeated the level. Day 28 was another fun boulder level, and day 29 was another lightning root spamming level. On day 30, we had to make sure we didn't plant in Dave's mold colonies. This was an extremely annoying level, and we had to perfect our timings so that we planted our lightning reeds so I could defeat this level. After a lot of struggle, the lightning reed plant power won with this level. Day 31 was a breeze, and we moved on to the final level of Lost City, and we fought Dr. Zombos, who is now in the form of an adventure ship. Using the conveyor, this was a really easy boss fight, and we stomped it. After beating Dr. Zombos, we unlocked the key to the far future. In part 3, I'm going to go from the far future all the way to the Neon mixtape tour. Thanks for watching this video, and the outro will play 3, 2, 1.